Hello, everybody, and Merry Christmas in July.
Hello, welcome.
I'm Patty.
I'm Carrie.
And we are StudioR12 Stencils, and we are here today to show you some wonderful stencils for doing quick Christmas things. They can be used by kids, adults. You can make wrapping paper out of them. You could do projects. You can do all the things.
They're good mix and match stencils. They're good stencils to have for scrapbooking. It's a really fun collection. But before we get into the collection that we're talking about today, I want to remind you that today, July 9th, 2024, is the last day to pre-order the July 2024 project of the month. This month we have two options for you. You can get the project itself, which includes a surface that's a really cool 3D surface, and stencils and exclusive coupons and all those fun things, and that's $49.99. Or you can get
door number 2.
Box B, box 2, is the project with a supply kit added on. And the supply kit includes 6 of our favorite tools for stenciling. It is valued at $27, but we are going to let you add it on for just $19.99. So you can get the project and the kit, or the supply kit, for $69.98. And today's the last day to pre-order.
And can I say a thing for the project of the month? We started almost 1 year ago. Next month is our 1 month, our 1 year anniversary. And listening to Carrie answer emails and do the customer service for everything, it seems as if everybody who emails about it and is like didn't order it because maybe they had 2 that they hadn't got painted or whatever, they're always then email back and say how sad they were, you know? And so there seems to be a little FOMO and a little bit of sadness about missing out. So just because it comes to you now doesn't mean that you can't paint it later. And then you will not be able to get any of the new stuff until 6 months from now. So there is that.
Yeah,
and it's going to be out of season as well. So
and the pricing is also quite different.
Yes.
A lot of the retail pricing for these projects is around $100, maybe more.
Yeah, so you're getting it for half off.
Yeah.
So you're getting a great deal. And we are making sure in every one of the kits that we send out, there are brand new things that you've never seen from us. And so we literally are making sure that you get like all quality, great, fabulous things. So it won't be a repeat of anything that you've gotten previously. So just to allay that, I think it's a big deal.
Yep.
And you're going to love this project because you can use it for every day and you can use it for crafting. It's a really cool surface. And then we gave you a bunch of stencils that will make it seasonal or crafting or whatever. So we kind of crossed some lines so that you could use it in both ways, and we gave you all the stencils to do it.
Yep.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. So today, let's talk about YouTube. So on YouTube, we are live on Tuesdays, at 12 p.m. Eastern. We're also live on Facebook and we're live on Twitch. But then on Saturdays on our YouTube channel, we release videos where we teach techniques, show how to paint projects, sometimes from start to finish. And so last week, if you want to pop up the big one, last week we did part 2 of a series on painting a rustic sign. So 2 weeks ago, we released how to paint this
gnarly background.
Yeah, this background. And then last week, Patty showed how to paint the stencil over top of it. And at first it seemed like a basic lesson. You're just painting. However, she taught a new way to drop shadow.
I pulled out
cool.
Just flip your hippie noodle out right here. Look at this drop shadow in the really shady. And I don't like doing drop shadow with a stencil. However, what I do know, I'm going to pop this guy down. What I do know is that a lot of people stress the heck out. Like I've taught all over the country, workshops and seminars and all of this kind of stuff. The minute we start talking about lettering and the drop shadows, as the minute the stress level in the room goes straight up. And so that's why I bring out so many lettering stencils and stuff like that, and then show you how to do the drop shadow with that stencil. But in this case, I did this drop shadow without using the stencil, and I show you how to do it super easy. You do need a specific kind of brush, will help. But it just turned out so good, and it just adds a depth to it without it being obvious. I love it. I am a fan.
Yes. Well, so this weekend, we are also releasing a new video with a new technique that we're
Carrie invented. She's going to blow your hippie
I'm going to
noodle.
blow your hippie noodle, and I'm going to show you just real quickly. This weekend, we are showing you how to make a perfect frame with a background pattern stencil. And then Steve is super great, and he has done some work on the back end of the video that he will show you. I'm going to talk about some other ways that you could have done this project and how to add some more framing to it, since framing is kind of the name of the game this weekend, and show some really cool ways that we could have taken this even a couple steps further. So it is going to be a super fun weekend with fun video and a fun lesson.
I'm going to show you digitally. I'm not going to be in the video.
Oh no, he's not going to be in the video. I'm sorry.
Oh, we
friends.
should have like a Find Steve in the video.
Not happening. No.
I love it. We'll get Emmett to give him a phone call.
Yeah.
That's so great. You guys, you need to make sure that you go to our website, subscribe, because we have so much to talk about. We have so many techniques, tips, tricks. We got a lot to say.
Yes, and I'm going to share. So the stencils we are showing today, they're called our Christmas Story Stencils, and they have lots of different designs. They come in themes. They are all 8.5 by 11, so you can make a little book of them. I think all of them are mostly already hole punched.
Yeah, they have. They have a. They are.
Like a
so you can put them in a binder.
So you can put them in a binder,
this
and
one
so
is
they. They're a fun collection, and we just wanted to show you guys. Like looking at them, it might be like, oh, how do I build and do this? So we want to show you some ways and get your mind going on how to use
So,
these.
are we ready to start?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to step right up here. And what I want to tell you is join me in the Wayback Machine, because way back, a long time ago, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we started making stencils because we couldn't find what we needed. And so we started, at first we ordered them, and then we got some equipment and we started making our own. So when we started making our own, then it was like, well, what titles should we make? What kind should we make? Well, let's do a Christmas theme. So we came up with a Christmas theme, and we called them Story Stencils. And what it is you've got your elements that you might put in the sky. You've got some stars, you've got the Star of Bethlehem, you've got a crown, you've got the drummer boy, some camels, let's call them donkeys, some trees. So you've got just everything that you need to put together a story on all of these. So this one has got all of the candles and candle lighting and just different shapes of candles with the greenery and stuff like that. So you can embellish ribbons. We've got, this is the one I'm going to use today. This one has been one of our most popular. I think I have taught this. I taught in Canada. I've taught this everywhere. But this one is, and these are the very first ones. We have stories for pirates. We have stories for, I think we have fall. I'm trying to think of all, it's been like many years ago, but these are the very first ones. So out of 7,000 stencils, these were at the very beginning of 7,000. But this has your snowflakes, and it has 2 sizes of your Santa sleigh. And then down here, it has a little cutout village, and then of course some shooting stars and all of this kind of stuff. We go here, this is letters to Santa, and so this has got your postmark, and you could put this on so many things. Your little hanging sign for the North Pole, and then Dear Santa, I Can Explain, like just fun elements, hoof prints. And then we've got, of course, your prancing reindeer. This is not so much story, but I don't know if you've ever tried to paint a reindeer. I have, and it's a pain in the tush. So this is fantastic because it gives you the reindeer and their curly antlers, and then it also gives you some of their harnessing and their bells. And that's the thing we try to think about when I was thinking about stencils, when I became a stencil lady. When I was thinking about that, what would you want? Like, what would I want? This one is candies. Now, this is so important. I painted a circle here, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. But painting a good circle without a stencil is ridiculously difficult. If you want it, you can trace it really nice, but it tends to, you push on your brush just a little heavy in one spot, then you got to make the circle a little bigger, and it just kind of grows on you. So these are perfect little shapes for the candies, candy canes. and then your peppermint striping. And then this is, unless you have good stroke work, making candy cane stripes is horrible. So I'm going to show you how to use this today. And then we have a candy house, a gingerbread house. And it's got the frosting or the snow, whichever way you want to go for the eaves. And it's got little bric-a-brac and little candy shapes that you can put on there, and candy canes and a little gingerbread cookie guys. And then the windows and you can put any kind of chimney on there, and it's got your smoke. It's got everything. So everything that you need to build this little cute house. So I love that this is just a whole thought. And then, of course, they all like work together. And then this guy right here is just a fun and festive Christmas. It's got the train to go under the trees, and it's got big old wonky fun Christmas trees with toys. It's got teddy bear, Jack-in-the-Box, presents, train, yeah, all the things. All right, I think I introduced all of, and snowflakes. If you don't have some of our snowflake stencils, we make the best ones in the entire industry, I'm just saying. So we worked really hard at creating new snowflake shapes. A lot of times they're super basic, and that's not what we wanted. We wanted something that was exciting and interesting. So today I'm going to show you how to use a couple of these, and I've got some things base coated. Here's the sad little circle that I painted, but I know what I'm doing around it, so I didn't want to perfect it. I could perfect it, but I didn't want to. So what I want is I want a moon for my Santa to go in front of. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do that. First, I'm going to make some dreamy sky happen. So I'm going to get into white, and I'm going to get into gray. And my colors are kind of all over the place, 36 and 27. And let's make that irregularness go away. So let's give him some dreaminess. So make that moon be dreamy. And then we can also, I've mixed my, 72 was my base coat, and I slip slap number 6 in the navy blue in that 72. Okay, so now we get some dreamy going. And then we can make some dreamy go around over here. This is one of those Christmas magic nights. And I'll just break the edges of my moon so that my irregularness doesn't show. And once I put Santa there, it's not. The secret to painting really well is knowing what you can get by with. So make sure that you play a lot and learn what matters. Because it doesn't matter if you paint perfectly. It matters if you know what you have to paint perfectly. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself crazy. Okay, and then we'll give ourselves just a little bit more white through there. And we can add more dreamy in just a little bit here. Okay, so see, that already looks so much better. So that's just using your stencil dome brush and then just wiping it off, unloading it, and then just softly doing a little swirly stuff right there. So that goes in the water. And then we'll bring out Mr. Santa. Now I've put a line right here. I think I'm going to do my houses first. So I'm going to just put this stencil down where this is. Everything's going to be gray down here. I'll get myself a little bit of tape. And because I don't have an edge down here, I could go over this edge and then over this edge, which works just fine, except for this is off the edge just a little bit. So I'm going to go right through my Santa sled. Right there, give myself 2 places to paint. And then we're going to go into, ooh, I got to take my line. In this case, I could use a piece of stencil to do this, but I'm just going to use a piece of tape. Today, this needs to be exactly where I put it. So I'll tape my line, and then we're going to stencil in our gray. And this is going to bounce a little bit, so I'm going to borrow a little tape. Just want this to stay hunkered down. And we'll lift you up later. Okay. And we've got some smoke up here. So this is just this little illustration of a town that Santa's flying over. It doesn't need to be detailed. No windows, none of that stuff. But see how fast this goes to just get this little village painted. Take that tape off. And I think we are good. I'm going to put my end of my brush into the back end of that to keep that all anchored down in the water. And then pull that off. And now we have a dreamy little village. How fun. And I also just peeled my paint. Okay, so this is a great lesson right here. This is because my paint was fresh. I was painting this, I probably started about an hour ago. When you have fresh paint, and I did a slip slap and I had it wet and I was spraying it down to get that movement. So now I have this, this line right here. So what I'm gonna do is go with a straight edge on my stencil and probably dry that. So this is what not to do. Don't tape on fresh paint, okay? Sometimes you can get by with it and sometimes you cannot. And today I cannot. So we're gonna take a foam brush and we're just gonna put this over the top of this. And we're just gonna put navy down there. I wasn't sure how far. I chose a word stencil that we just already had cut. And so I'm just gonna feather this down to fix it. And I've got a little bit of black slip slapping around my edge, so I'm just going to feather this right across that black and let that black stay, and then voila, I'm fixed. So that is how you fix it when you're being a goofball. Okay, so now we'll let this dry, and I'm going to move this away, and I'm going to bring this guy over here. So this guy I have is, these are both Dollar Tree surfaces, and they're the $3 ones that you can get, the more expensive ones. And let's use that candy cane. Okay, so the candy cane happens to be, this is our banding stencil, and this last one right here is exactly the same size as that candy cane. So I just used that to make my band. And now I'm going to lay this over the top. And we also have fresh paint here. Got my little, I love having these little lifters. My hands get a little bit sweaty every now and again, and then I can't control what I'm doing with the stencil because it sticks to my hands. So get it lined up, give it a little tack. And the other thing that you can do when you don't want to have anything sticking is you can do the fabric trick where you put your tape on fabric a couple times, and that'll make it less tacky, so it will hold things down, but it won't be as sticky. So sometimes you just can be a little overzealous with your sticky stuff. And this one we're going to go with our non-traditional colors. So we've got this raspberry color.
What number?
Number 45. And then I would love to hear from you guys. Do you stencil with your kids? I think that's an interesting question. And I have to laugh because I always finish a question with, that's an interesting question. It's like the thing I always do. Okay. So now we get our little raspberry color, and then we're just going to stipple. And we know about reds, and we know how they don't cover very well, but we're okay with this leaning pink. But I think we're definitely going to do 2 coats. I'll switch to the swirl just for speed. Like if you had to paint each one of these stripes one by one, you would lose your stuff. Okay, so we'll heat that with the blow dryer. Then we'll go again, and I am going to stipple this time because it'll be darker. See how much darker that is? But the swirl gives you a fast drying like base coat. And so that's a really good trick to know about. And this board is hollow and has like a frame around the backside. That's why you're hearing it so loudly. Let me push down on it.
Rich says that he stencils with his grandkids. Carol says that she stencils with her granddaughters. Rich said all his kids are older than me. I don't know. You might be surprised. I had a girl the other night, couldn't believe that we were celebrating our 20th high school reunion. She said, there's no way. So I was like, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. All right, and then when you're laying a stencil over and you want it to repeat, then you have to just overlap a couple of them and get that lined up. And then we tack it down and follow again. Isn't that the fastest candy canes you've ever seen? We have a lot of different candy cane variations, but these are, isn't there some sort of special something you're going to let them know about with
I
this?
already did.
Aha! So good idea to subscribe so that you get notified. If you're on YouTube and you're catching this later, make sure that you just go ahead, go over to StudioR12.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. You can delete us if you want to, whatever. But when you want to know about it, you'll be getting the information first.
Well, and I will say I have not released this in the newsletter yet. This is something that was special for our live today. So we will send out information on it after the video is on YouTube and good to go. But as of right now, you guys are the first ones hearing about it, and it's kind of an exclusive thing for our online people.
I like it. Okay, so now we finished the second coat. And I like this pink color. Ta-da! Okay, into the water. And now we have a candy cane border. This is something that I think is really important to notice, is that I have a big square, and none of these stencils is quite big enough to fill my big square. And I could just put big word right there or whatever, and I am going to put a word, but you can divide things up into these bordery things. So if you notice, this is a border. So you could have, this little Santa houses running along down there and have it totally be a border. These little greeneries are borders. The candy cane's a border. You could make snowflakes. You could fill this with snowflakes as a border and just go boink, 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 boink. So you could totally use any of these things as border fillers and just bring the theme around. So now I'm going to bring this mistletoe holly into here. Just kind of make it fit. Is it spring again? Because my eyes have been itching today. Okay, so now we're going to just tack this down so we make sure that we're not too sticky through the bigger hollies. And then we're going to go into a very different green. So this is number 71, and it's got just a nice teal color to it. So I thought, I could do traditional green, but I thought it'd be neat to just shake things up a little bit. And I'm spitting out way too much paint. Okay, so now we pick up our green. And so I hope this is a useful technique for you guys to learn as how to make little bands of things and just like piece things together just a little bit. These stencils are so universal, like they can be used over and over and over and over and over. And we have a great video on how to clean your stencils. So even after you think maybe you use the stencil with the grandkids and they've chunked on the paint and they've done all grandkid kind of things to them, then you can take them to the sink. You can watch the video and learn how to clean them, and then you've got them back to new. The only thing you don't ever want to do to a stencil is fold it. A folded stencil is really hard to recover from. Okay, I'm going to blow dry that, and we're going to get another coat. Okay, so now I'm going to stipple. This color is really kind of tone on tone with the black background, and so I'm going to show you a trick to make it pop out. You've got to leave your stencil in place. I'm going to leave that guy there for a minute. I don't think it's going to be too long.
So in case we have some people who are sitting here watching being like, ugh, it's July and they're talking about Christmas. Our friend Rich said he sold 8 Christmas and holiday porch signs last weekend at a show. So people were already starting to think about holiday decor, holiday gifts, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it does not start in November if you're painting and crafting. It starts now. Because if you don't start now, you won't get done. If you also, like if you think about it, you run into a budget interference. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, I've got to buy this and I've got to buy that and I've got to put on a holiday meal and I've got to la 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 la. You give yourself a litany of things to do, and then pretty soon you're out of money. You don't have it how you want it, and that's kind of sad. And this is just such an easy way. These are $3 surfaces. You can put together a quad of these and make a whole wall statement. You could do something down a wall. You can do so much with this kind of stuff. So it doesn't have to be expensive, and if you take advantage of sales that we have and stuff like that, then it's great. Okay, that is color number 81. And I'm going to use 81 and see how bright it comes out. And I'm using the Mezzaluna brush, which is a flattened dome brush. So almost everything we always use is dome. And I'm going to go on the small ones first, and I'm just going to highlight the edges of that little holly. Let's see if that pops. It's popping pretty good. So I'll go on the small ones with this brush, and then I'll switch up to a bigger brush. You want it to fade, so you put a heavier pressure on, and then if I mess up and get it too stripy, I can just go with the base coat color and soften it down. Okay, now we'll go into a little guy. Don't need a little, I need a medium little, and I don't have one. So we'll use the edge of our brush. So I'm going to push my brush towards the edge and then turn my stencil. Turn my board. So Rich, I think this kind of thing to make, I don't know what size are the boards that you're making?
Said they were porch boards.
Okay, so these, if you think about this as the top of your porch stencil, your porch sign, and you could totally do a thing of holly with a band of candy cane and then go onwards with your thing, or you could make your eyes into candy canes and that kind of stuff. It's just a neat way to add that element of surprise. A lot of things at crafts shows can end up being really flat, and so I think it's just neat to add that just kind of extra little oomph. Okay, so we're going to lift this off and see what we see. So, oh, isn't that cute? So cute and so fast. The holly, keep calling them all kinds of names. The holly is one of the very first things I wanted because it is so difficult to get pointy things. Bat wings. Let's see, bat wings, candy cane stripes, holly leaves, all of that kind of stuff is so difficult to get to base correctly. Like you end up with clunky ends and stuff like that. So now I just moved this over, and I'm just going to swirl, and we repeat the steps so that we have a really pretty little border, and we'll put on our berries, and then we'll get ready for the final on this one. But all of these elements, you could do a candy border. You could do it. I was thinking about doing this as a whole candy, just start hodgepodging candies all over the place here with some snowflakes in the back. I think it would be adorable. So there's like a lot. If you guys have ideas, pop them down in the comments. We want to hear them. Okay, get that dry. And I love that this stencil gives you the 3 sizes of the holly. And now we need to do our highlights. so just off to the side. Remember, if you mess it up and you get too heavy-handed, you can always go back with your base color and go right over it. I love that about stencils. It gives you lots of options. This really is almost like the technique for the drop shadow, is doing this through the stencil and giving it just this little kind of highlight, but I didn't use the stencil for the drop shadow. I just used the base coated lettering. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off, and now we'll put some berries on it. And then these guys go in the water. And let's choose our size of berries. What I don't like about using red over green is I've got to hit it with a blow dryer. When you start getting random and you start filling in extra, like little bits and pieces, it's best just to leave your stencil right where you have it and get that color right. And that way you don't have to replace and reposition and all that kind of stuff. So how fast are those berries? I love it. Do it without the blow dryer. And then we'll go and one thing that makes things really pop is to take the back of your brush or this like round brush and go into your dry white paint, JK, and just add that little sparkle on your berries. It doesn't have to be precise. It just adds that little bit of jazz and makes them pop. Okay, so next we're going to put the stencil up here. I've got Silent Night, Holy Night. I don't think this is the best fit for this with candy canes, but I needed one that would fit in a nice space, and this won the game. Okay. And then get out our jumbo guy. So this is our jumbo dome brush. These are very, very, very popular. And so you want to make sure that you get them as we have them, because they are made specially for us, and they're made overseas, not in China, I'm happy to say, but yeah, they are, I think they're European. I think they're European, yeah. So look how fast this covers your territory. Get a couple of them so that when one is wet, it does take a little bit to dry. I'm laughing. I put out too much paint. And then I'm like, I don't have enough paint.
I did have a question not related to this, a question that was asked on our YouTube channel this week. I varnished with a sponge and have streaks. How can I fix that?
So if you varnish with a sponge, you want to make sure your sponge is damp when you start. And then you, if it's streaky, you can try going back over it one time, but you might need to sand it a little bit to get the streaks to kind of go away, and then revarnish. Let's see how that looks. I think we need one more coat. Yeah, starting with a damp brush and a damp roller, damp meaning like step on it to get all the excess water out of it. So yeah, anytime you're doing varnish, it's a good idea to have the thing that you start with to be damp. So, you know, when you decorate your house, you're going to want your Christmas stuff done by July. If you have a full-time job, you know, it might take you a week or 2 or 3
Yeah.
to decide what you want, and then to order the stuff, and then to get it in, and then to choose your colors, and like it's a process. So you really, really do kind of need to think ahead because you want to have the stuff ready to put on your porch during that time frame. Okay, this is going to not go into water because I might need it again. I actually am going to need it right now. I'm going to do another thing. So that looks darling. Now let's go around and decorate just a little bit with some snowflakes. So see how nice it is just to have these all together, and you can just pull them in. They work in the sizes.
Our friend Christine said that I now check my stash for things to mix and match or to embellish a spot that needs a little something. It really adds to a project.
It really does. Like just doing this, like this made everything kind of come together. It's the magic. So, and make sure when you're doing your snowflakes all around that you make different shapes, and don't be afraid to go off the edge like I'm doing right here. So this snowflake's only half on. So that just, it's peeking in. And then you can do the same thing down here. And just don't go on your candy cane too much. Just peeking in. Now I'll pop that into, see how fast snowflakes are when you have that. Snowflakes is another one. When you have, if you had to do this by hand, you would be here for a month of sun. That's how I painted for 25 years before I started making stencils. Let's add some snow, and then we'll finish up our little Santa Claus. And can I get you to get me a White Wonder? We tend to use every brush we have, and then we finally wash our brushes. Carrie and I both went on vacation at the same time, and we left all of our brushes in their water over the whole vacation, and we came back and had to wash our brushes.
I think I washed 4 buckets of brushes before I went on vacation. That's how I spent my final day at work here before vacation, was washing brushes.
Can't confirm.
Okay, so now we wet our White Wonder. This is a magic little brush, guys. It does the best spatters. Toothbrushes tend to leave things trajectory. It always has like, if you're way up high and you do the flaky with your thumb, you can get them to fall. But if you get down close to it, then they just go like bullets or something. And so you just having this White Wonder, I can get right in where I want to go. So if I'm way up high, then I snow. See how even that is? Okay, but then if I want to go like on top of my snowflake right here, I can get that to go right on top of that snowflake and make it magic. See how that just stays in its spot? And that just fills that. It's almost like baby's breath in a floral arrangement. You know, you really just have, you just tuck in the little bits of stuff and it makes it fuller and better.
We're starting to get a little glitchy if you want to move on ahead so we can wrap up soon.
Okay. All right, so that is that one. And then let's get Santa Claus flying over. Let's go next to our edges. Okay, so we want a red, and this is number 18 for Santa's sled.
Of course it's 18.
That's what
18. Do I want 18? Do I want it to be green? I think I want it to be green. Number 41. Okay, so we're going to take our Santa sled. And we'll protect his stuff here. And then we'll get a little reindeer friends. And I've got number 44 for reindeer friends. And they may need a little bit of color boost. I think I'll go into a little bit of white and brighten that up just a little bit. And we can just go right down along. They can just be all one color. And give Rudolph a little red nose if you want to. These look really, really good on round things like a planter or a cookie jar or something like that. They look really good going around the sides. Yay. Okay, and then we give Santa's got to have a little red hat. And of course a little red suit. So see where these littler brushes really come into play. And we're going to green another coat. Okay, and then we need some gold. Number 25. And a little teeny brush.
Rich asked if you can use acrylic paint pens in a project.
You know, I have not mastered using them through stencils. I don't know if I just haven't spent the time to do it. So if anybody has the answer to that, I would love to hear it. I haven't bought. God bless you. I haven't. Uh-oh. All right, so this has not ever happened to me with one of these little brushes, but this little guy is disappearing down his barrel. He's obviously not squoze tight enough, and so sometimes manufacturing happens. I bet you we have less than a 1% any kind of defect rate or anything like that. Sometimes they do lose their bristles because they're new and the glue just doesn't touch everything. But this one needs a crimping. Can you see if you can find me a little one? I rarely ever use the tiny baby ones. Okay, so I think that part's done. I'm gonna get Santa some white beard on his little face. And I wondered if you dabbed like the markers, you know, or something like that. I wonder if that would be something that would work. Okay, thanks. Finish our sled.
Kat says, I trace the shape from the stencil, then use the pens.
Interesting. Good idea. Really good idea. All right, do we think that we need gold stars coming up through under Santa's sled, or do we think that we need white? I think gold.
I think gold.
I think gold might be fun. So this is going to go right in front of these houses. See how fun these stencils are? Aren't they fantastic? Love them. Okay, and then take this off and see what we need. Cute. Okay, so we've got our dreamy stuff going on, and now we need to snowflake. I think I'm gonna, a couple of little snowflakes. Should have saved that white. Is that the white? That's the brown. So when you save something and then it starts hardening and stuff like that, then you're always sad because then you got it hardened. So better to have extra brushes and not lose your mind. Okay, so we'll get some little snowflakes going here and there.
We have a new friend, Diane, who's joining
Hi,
us
Diane.
on YouTube. She's new to stenciling. She's just been stenciling since April. She said, I've learned so much from watching the videos that you produce. I've ordered many stencils and brushes from StudioR12. The quality of both is great. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you for that. And you guys, we always really appreciate when you give us reviews, good, bad, ugly, whatever, because it just helps other people know about us when they get there. Like, it's always scary to go someplace the first time and order and not know the company. Like, we are in Ohio. I'm a veteran. My husband's a veteran. Like, we're like legit all the things. We've got some beautiful designers that work with us. We are excited to work with you. So we're happy to be here. So now I'm doing a misty little snowflakes to kind of fill in and just kind of get that busyness going in the background. And then we'll bring a word down at the bottom. You gotta believe, right? Gotta do the believing. I think I'll just make that white. Sometimes your brush will feel just like a little bit too heavy and you're like, oh, I better go wipe some more off. Ooh, 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 did you see that? Okay, so slid, didn't take my stencil. So we're gonna get a paper towel that is clean. What happens when you slide? Easy stuff to fix. Just go in there and wipe it back. And it's gonna take off the dreamy stuff and I can replace my stencil and continue on. But this time I'll tape. Always tape in two places and don't tape on fresh paint. This is the blue debacle video. Okay, back we go. So easy enough. If you make a mistake or if you feel like something happened, always go fix it right away, and it's easy to fix. The click eraser trick is a really good. Do we have a standalone click eraser video? I don't know if we do.
No, I think it's in our how-to.
Yeah. I think we should standalone that thing. It is such a cool trick. Okay, so I'm doing two little swirly coats. And then there's our believe word. Now, if we had more time right here, I would go ahead and make a red or a green band right there. But I know that we're trying to not make super long videos and you've got lunch breaks and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to put the band on, but that's what I would do is use my banding stencil and go ahead and band across. Now let's add some snow.
Let's also show, grab one of, about a third of the way in on the right is all of the, yes, all of those. Grab a couple of those so you can show how to, yes, how to specifically look for one that you won't have to repeat.
Okay,
So
yeah.
repeating a stripe can be a pain in the bottom.
So here's a tea towel.
Yes, then those come in several different sizes, and the stripes get thicker as the stencil gets larger. So it's nice to have them in all different sizes, but it's also nice to be able to have a striped stencil that is the size of your project or larger, so that you do not have to move your stencil every time because it's a tiny one. So all the different sizes kind of have different
Yeah, so you can use all of these in different,
projects, yeah.
yeah, the smaller they are, the skinnier they are. And then, yeah, so then they just get wider and wider as they get bigger. So this is an actually excellent point. All right, let's get some snow going. And then, where did my snow brush go? White handle, there we are. And water it down, you want it really thin. Okay, so now we're going to just make Santa and the moon super kind of snowy. And then I want to go kind of straight through so So that village just is having a little snowstorm because it should always snow at Christmas time. If you start getting stubborn behavior from your spatter brush, know that it is probably not loaded correctly. You need more water. Generally, that's the way. I love filling in these snowflakes. And then through the believe. Now this is where we can get kind of really super sassy. Get some nice water going, tap off, and then you can take it and you can turn your brush sideways, and then you can kind of go that trajectory thing I was talking about and just kind of keep everything in the middle of the word just by kicking it over. And then you have a lovely magical believe word, and how fun is that? I hope you guys have absolutely enjoyed these story stencils. They are magic and fun, and they are going to be great for your crafting and your decorating and kids and grandkids and all the things. They are magic. See ya.